Hi friends, welcome back to the channel and welcome if you're new here. My name is Courtney. I'm a stay-at-home mom, wife, and author. And it is that time of year again where we have a little chat about our current situation with planners and journals and whatnot at the mid-year mark. So, I was trying to gather all of the things to start, film this video, and I honestly can't even remember what I started the year with. I think I have some clue. I might be off. I will link my 25 planner lineup video if you want to go back and watch it and have a little chuckle at my delusions. That's fine. So let's get started. And I think I'm going to start with the things that I thought I would keep in my system, or the things that let me take this off. The things that I started the year with that I thought I had a really good plan for, and turns out I was wrong. So we are going to do that right now. Okay, so I think at the beginning of the year, well, let me go back a little bit. In 2024, I used a sterling ink standard size, I think it was the horizontal compact, as like a health and kind of fitness journal or planner, whatever you want to call it. And I found it to be very, very helpful. Last year, I also, one of my major goals was to lose a fairly significant-ish amount of weight, and to also figure out some other health issues that I was struggling with. And I also was fully in the middle of perimenopause, which if you are in your 40s or 50s, then you know the kind of dumpster fire that can be. And there are just a lot of things going on with your body, and it was one of those things where I was like, oh, is this a perimenopause symptom? Is this a symptom of some other health issue that I'm having? Do I even really have this symptom, or is it something mentally that is going on with me? There was just a lot going on last year. And so I found tracking all of those things and really being mindful of those things very, very helpful to me last year. So moving into 2025, I thought, okay, that situation really helped me last year. I knew right off the bat some things I did not need to track so carefully. I had really lost the amount of weight that I wanted to lose, so I was in a maintenance phase of weight loss. I pretty much had a routine for my workouts down. I think last year I was really kind of experimenting with what kinds of exercises I liked to do and could sustain doing them, and the kinds of workouts that were really effective. I do think that for me personally, going through kind of perimenopause and being middle-aged, that increasing like workouts with weights was very helpful, and so I was very like diligent in tracking all of that. But I've sort of figured out like what I like to do, when I like to do it, all of that kind of stuff. And frankly, most of the workouts I do are like all of my cardio workouts I just ride my Peloton for, and then any of the like weight stuff. Why can I not think of the word for that? But you know, any other workouts that I do with weights, or if I want to do Pilates or any of that, I just will use my Peloton app for. So it's not something that I really need to track anywhere on paper, and I am okay with that. And so as a result, gosh, that was a long opening. I knew that I did not need such a large footprint for that. So I bought this little, this is the Kinbor Weekly, and it is like a Hobonichi Weeks dupe. I got it off of AliExpress. It was a few dollars, maybe $5. I can't really remember. But I got it and I thought, okay, this is perfect. I don't need that much space. I got it and kind of set it up with like habit trackers and what I was going to do. And you can see I didn't even use it in January. I think by that time the actual year started, I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. So this was like I had set it up as like my symptoms log, which is what I did last year in my Sterling ink. I had like highlighted the top of each of the days so that I could put my fasting blood sugar in. I had my medication tracker set up in here. I even set up my like mental health tracking and sleep tracker. And I didn't even use it for 1 month. I just was like, yeah, you know, I don't really feel like doing this. So I didn't. And then I was like, I really do like this little planner. I love the week's setup so much. And so I was trying to think of another way to use it. And I thought, okay, well, I can go back and I will just make it my little memory planner, because I didn't really have one that I liked. Well, I did. The one that I bought to use, I didn't like using. So I was like, oh, I can do memory planning in this little book. Yeah, didn't do that either. Then I think I attempted to use it as like a writing planner. That didn't work. So then I just kind of put it to the side and was like, I'm not even going to worry about it that much. I spent, you know, a couple of dollars on it. It is what it is. And so it has been sitting on a shelf most of the year doing nothing after I decided that I couldn't use it for anything. And I pulled it out again this week. And as I was setting up my personal planner, I pulled this one out and I decided that I am just going to do my meal planning in here. I can plan on a weekly basis if I want to. I tend to like to attempt to do my meal planning on a monthly basis because I hate doing it. So if I sit down and do it all in one sitting and it's done, it's just better for me. And we actually stick to a meal plan. So I think that's what I'm going to use it for. I can plan out my meals on the monthly, and then when I get into the weeklies, I can actually assign the meals to like the specific days that I think that I'm going to cook them on. I can make a grocery list on this page if I want to. And then there's notes pages in the back where I can keep track of recipes, that I want to try anything like that. So we're going to try this and see if it works. If not, I'm not super concerned about it. If I end up not using it, I may just go ahead and take the blank pages out of the back and punch them into my personal rings and just use them as scrap paper. So this is one thing that I thought I was going to use, decided I didn't really have a good use for it, but I'm pulling it back out and putting it back in the rotation. I also had set up my A5 ring planner as my goal planner and my content, well, no, not my content planner, I'm sorry, as my goal planner. So I printed out all of my inserts for my goal planning and set everything up, and I used it, I think, for Q1. And then I decided that I really like having my goals stuff in my personal planner because it will just keep me on task better if I have it in the planner that I'm in most of the time. And other than like setting up my goals every month and kind of breaking them down, I was not really in this planner. I think because I love the cover so much, I really wanted to use it. This is a Moterm A5 Luxe. This is the Veg Tan Chestnut, and I really love this planner. My husband got it for me for my birthday, and I think that I just felt compelled to use it. But I'm learning that it's okay. Like, I can have things and I can decide that it's not where I am in my life right now. I don't really want to be in the A5 size, and I can put this on my shelf and it will be there for when I'm ready to come back to it. So yeah, this made it as far as like mid-March, and then I moved everything into a different planner. So this has been sitting on my shelf as well. I am not currently using this. The other thing that I was using and felt like really committed to using it, I had been gifted this Clever Fox planner to try out and review. I really enjoyed that they had this sort of goal breakdown in it, and I was using this as my archive planner because I don't keep my personal inserts. I thought, well, this would be a really great place to go in and write down some of that information, just to have it. And I ended up not really doing that very much. And I think I think the main reason that I ended up not really using this much is because of the size. You can see for March, I was going to go in and add pictures. I printed them out and everything because I thought, well, I can use this as a memory keeper. This is like a consistent running thing with my planner setups this year. But I think the size was not really conducive to me using it a lot because it's so much bigger than all of my planners that I really have to, or I shouldn't say I have to, but it's easier for me to use when I am in my office because this is the room where I have the most space and I can kind of pull things out and leave them. It's my room. Nobody's going to be coming in here needing the space where I have all of my crap laid out for anything. Like, it's not, I don't have to move my stuff because my son needs to do his homework, that sort of thing. But because a lot of the time I'm planning like on my couch, in the living room, in my bedroom, all of that, I didn't feel like lugging this from room to room. So I just never really use it. You can see once again, I sort of decided that, oh, I could use this for memory keeping and kind of attempted to do it for March. Come back in for Q2 and maybe set things up, and then I don't really think I used it at all. I think I stuck this in here because it was like wrapping on a gift that I got for I think I got this for Mother's Day maybe, or something, anniversary, can't remember, but I was gonna use it, put it in here to remember something, and now I don't even remember what I was supposed to be remembering, which happens a lot. So I did not end up using it. I do like that this planner is undated, so I could technically come back in and start it whenever, even if it's next year. And the months, the way that it's set up is you get the month and then you get the weeks after it. So even if I started it next year, I could go ahead and use it that way. So yeah, I'm putting this back on the shelf. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. You can see I have a bunch of pictures that I printed out that I was going to add to it, and I never did. Memory keeping has been one of those things that I have not had a really good system in place for it this year, and it's been kind of bothering me. We are on memory planner attempt number 3, although this was the system that I had originally set up for memory keeping this year. I really do love the standard size, and I had successfully done memory keeping last year, I think, in a standard size, and I really enjoyed it. I still love pulling out those inserts and looking through them. I used the Travelers Company vertical inserts, so you get one insert that is January through June and the other one that's July through December, and I really appreciated having that for last year. So I was like, yeah, let's do it again in a standard size. I love this cover. I got it off of Amazon. It's like rustic, and I don't know, I just like it. And I will say that I was very swayed, I think at the end of last year, seeing a ton of setups for Traveler's Notebook, and at the time not being in one, but knowing that I had the covers that I could use. So I thought, like, okay, well, I love the standard size. I've done memory keeping in a standard size before. This is going to be like totally awesome. Let's set it up and go. So did I even do one memory keeping spread in here? Set this up. This was going to be like my gratitude. And this is a Kinbor planner as well that I also got this off of AliExpress. And I think I did 1 week and I never even added the photos to it. Oh no, I did a couple weeks. I just never added anything extra to it. Then I had these inserts in here as well. One was going to be my commonplace book and one was going to be a journal. And I just never had it with me to journal or commonplace in. So yeah, I love the setup. I just never used it. So it is also sitting on my shelf. I think we're seeing a trend here. So let's talk about what I have decided to do for memory keeping and commonplacing and journaling or whatever, and see if that works for the second half of the year. So in my last video, I showed you a flip through of my ring planner. This is an Aura Estelle cover. And the reason that I was even on the Aura Estelle website was because I was looking for something that I could do memory keeping in. As you can see, nothing that I used had worked, and I thought that I was 100% going to end up buying a sterling ink, either an A5 or a standard size. And I love sterling ink, but my eyes are not really great, and the older I get, the worse they get. And as much as I love sterling ink planners, the grid is very, very light, which I understand, as it was created sort of in a response to a lot of the changes that people wanted to make to lots and lots of people love Hobonichi, but one of the things they dislike about the Hobonichi is that the grid is very sort of like in your face, and it can be overwhelming. And I think when Catherine designed her planner, she really paid attention to a lot of the things that people were looking for that they weren't able to find in other planners. And so she intentionally made the grid lighter for a reason. But for my old lady eyes, it is just it's a struggle really to see the grid. We also don't have great lighting in our house, which is a whole rant for a different day. But anyway, I remembered that Aura Estelle had that they sold planners. So I went on looking to see what they had, and what I ended up getting was a B6 Essential Weekly. So the way that this is set up is you get like all of the spreads in the front that are kind of familiar if you've ever used a Hobonichi or a planner sort of inspired by it. So you get this sort of 6-month, I think this is technically a future log. People use it for lots of different things. So you get 2 kind of 6-month spreads for each half of the year, and then you get your monthlies. But the thing that this planner does different is that your monthly and your weekly are all together, and then you get some blank grid pages in the back. So I thought that this would be really ideal for memory keeping. I have been on a horizontal kick lately and just really enjoying horizontal layouts. And like I said, I really do love the Hobonichi Weeks layout. So you get a weekly overview and then your blank page to kind of do whatever. And then it goes into your next month. And then at the end, you get, I don't even know, I didn't really count them, but you get a pretty nice amount of just blank pages that you could do whatever with. So I thought this would be ideal for memory keeping. I can put whatever on the monthlies. If there's like specific events that I want to note in the monthly, if I want to use this as like a gratitude thing, I could do it. I know when I used to have my B6stology, I would do like a sticker a day as a way to kind of use my stickers. So we'll see what I end up doing with the monthly, but I do like the idea of memory keeping on a weekly like this, because I tend to just kind of write things that happen during the week that I want to be able to remember, hence the name memory keeping, right? Sometimes it's just, I don't know, something funny that my kid said, or maybe it's something that I'm watching on TV that I'm really enjoying, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes I have pictures, sometimes I don't. I do like the idea of having pictures more frequently in my memory keeper, obviously, than not having them, just because I feel like I don't print out my pictures enough. But I also like that it's big enough that I could put 1 or 2 photos down, maybe some stickers, maybe write something about that specific event. And it's not, a B6 is large enough to like have space to kind of spread out, not have to worry about the pictures being teeny tiny to fit in, but it's also not so much space that I feel super intimidated by it. And then I like the idea of having these grid pages in the back, where if there are things that I want to do, if there are things that I want to perhaps print out more pictures for, or write more things about, then there is space to do it back here. But it's not, 365 pages either, where I feel pressure to fill them all up. So this is what I'm doing. I got this clear cover from Aura Estelle as well. I'll probably, I don't know, I may just slip some like scrapbook paper in here if I want to cover it or not. For now, I'm not super worried about it. I am excited to print out like the pictures from our vacation and do memory keeping and then kind of back planning. I stuck this in here because I got Good Molecules sent me like a PR package, and it was this product, and the advertising is really pretty and soft pink, and so I thought this would be a cool thing to stick in here as well. So I am very excited to actually dive into this and use it. I think that's one thing that's a little bit different, is I'm actually excited to use this. I don't feel like I was excited about any of the other things I had considered, so maybe that's why I didn't really use them. And after a few years of not having one and thinking that I probably would never buy one again, I bought a Hobonichi cousin. So honestly, I was a little influenced by this cover. I have been wanting one of these tweed zip covers. I initially saw one in the A6 size that I fell in love with. And then it wasn't available anymore, and I was searching on Mercari one night, as you do when you cannot sleep, and I saw this cover and I made an offer, and the seller accepted. I think that I got it for a really good deal, and yeah, I'm in love with this cover. It is very pretty. And so I decided to go ahead and buy the Hobonichi that had been sitting in my Amazon cart forever. I ended up getting the January start, even though the spring starts were available. One, this was a half off on Amazon. And because I think that I just want to use the prior weeks as more kind of journaling, note-taking pages. So essentially what I want to use this for is like a commonplace notebook, brain dump, whatever kind of flex space, because I don't have anything currently that I can use for any of that. And I discovered that there are sometimes things that I want to write down as a note, but a note that I want to keep. Like I can write it on my daily pages in my personal rings, but I don't really keep those pages, and I only keep a month's worth of daily pages in my ring planner. And so even if I write that information down, once the month is over, I did not really have anywhere to transfer that information that I wanted to kind of keep and maybe reference later. And so I was actually gonna buy an A5 Stology, or even I had kind of was looking at the large Moleskine planner. Once again, all of those videos, I love Randy's Moleskine videos. She uses that. I have been watching a ton of Stology videos, and so I just felt the call back to a bound book. But I know for planning, at least for me right now, this doesn't work for like the way that my brain is working right now, and that is subject to change. But I wanted a place where I could sort of collect information, and that is what I am using this for. I also knew that I wanted like a zip cover for it in case there are things that I want to save and I don't have anywhere to put them like immediately, whether it's something like I want to save to put in my memory planner or something like that. I kind of just wanted to have a place to like keep up with things. I wanted it to be, and I know that there's been a lot of discourse around the 2025 Hobonichi paper, and I know that it is not, you know, lots of people who love fountain pens are having issues with using their fountain pens on this paper. I have not done a pen test to see how this one performs. I have read in lots of Hobonichi groups that it sort of varies from batch to batch. So we'll see. If I can't use my fountain pen in it, it's no big deal. I will just use a regular pen in it, since I'm not really using it for anything specifically, just as kind of a place to store information. But yeah, I'm excited to have a place for that. And I'm excited to have this cover in my collection. And let's see, the other thing that is more of like a notebook thing versus a plan. Okay, now let's get into the things that I started the year with that have continued to work. So it would be these three things. So let's just start with this because it's not really a planner. This is my tarot journal. This is in an A5 traveler's notebook cover that I got off of Amazon. I really love it. I just have a patch on the front. And this is another Kinbor that I got from AliExpress. This is a lot like the Hobonichi cousin, except it does not have weekly spreads. It has Tomoe River paper in it. So if you loved the idea of the Hobonichi cousin, but you didn't want to try it because you don't really need the weekly spreads, or you weren't sure how you were going to use the weekly spread, but you love the idea of dated daily pages, I highly recommend this planner. So you get all of like the same spreads that you get in a Hobonichi. You get your monthly, has the big boxes, and then it just goes into the dated daily pages. So I have been using this pretty consistently. I pull a card a day. I write the card down. Sometimes I write something about the card, sometimes I don't. And then I just do my like weekly spreads in here. And kind of journal about that. I have some of like my favorite tarot spreads to do. I have space where I'm kind of trying to study some of the cards to get better at reading them for myself. I have a pen test in the back. And I am really enjoying using this. So it's actually working. Some months and some weeks I am much more diligent about using it, but I am in this if not every day, then a few times a week, and I really do enjoy the paper in here. I've been using my TWSBI fountain pen to like journal in here, and I really like it. So it is one thing that actually is turning out exactly the way I want it to this year. The next thing is my personal ring planner. If you have been here for a minute, you know that I am just obsessed with using my personal rings. I feel like I finally have a setup that really works for me and is really helpful for me in terms of like planning and goal setting and all of that. I'm not going to do like a complete flip through. I will link my last setup in a card, but yeah, I'm really enjoying being in here. I have my monthlies, notes, lists, trackers, and then my weekly overview, and then my daily pages, as well as my goal setting, and it is working really well. We are just kind of chugging along, and I am enjoying keeping my system but swapping out the planner cover. I think that is keeping me kind of satisfied and like resisting the urge to kind of tinker with my system too much and mess it up. So yeah, we are good to go. I'm obsessed with this Aura Estelle cover. I love this color so much, but it's working. And then we have my other A5 planner. This is my writing and kind of creative business content planner. I am using a Nolte. So this is kind of what a monthly spread looks like. And then you get a weekly spread, which looks like this. I really enjoy it. I've been able to use this box up here for content or like any notes that I am making about like writing deadlines and such up here as well. And then I basically use this middle section as like free space for lists or whatever. And then down here, I am using for my social media. So there's room for both of my Instagram accounts, my blog, all of my YouTube channels, and any sort of like reels or TikToks or anything like that. And then in the back, you have some notes pages as well. Not a lot. I think there's like 70 or so, 75. So I have some more like permanent lists, collections type lists in here. And then I have other things like passwords and banking information, like all of that is in here. This doesn't really leave my house. And then I have this notebook in here as well, which also has just like, it's more of like a brain dump notebook that I got off of Amazon. I think I got 6 of these or something in a pack. So when I fill up one, I can just throw it away and put another one in here. I don't really like the ribbons in these planners. I don't know. I think they're too thin for me personally, but I like the way they look on this cover specifically. So I just taped it. Oh, it came apart. I just taped this down to the binding so it wouldn't move around. And yeah, that's it. This is still really working for me. I love it. I'm able to also put like when any sort of like bill or payment is due, like that stuff goes on my monthly as well. So yeah, I planned this out at the beginning of the year and I am using it exactly how I plan to use it. Super happy with this system. So I do have 3 things that worked out the way that I planned. And so I think maybe that's more than I typically do, but yeah. And then the one thing that I know I had talked about in my yearly lineup was at the time I had a Filofax Pocket, and I just feel like pocket ring planners are so cute, and I want desperately to find a way for it to work in my system, but I'm not sure how, unless I completely mess up the system that I've already got going, and I'm not really willing to do that. So it makes sense that I bought another pocket planner, because obviously, but this is a Moterm pocket. This is the regular, not the luxe, so the rings are a little bit smaller, which I like. And I do just have it set up. For a while I was using it as my wallet. Currently I am not, but I enjoy having it set up just in case I want to jump into it. So I don't really think there's anything wrong with that. So we're just going to roll with it for the year. I do take the time once a month to kind of go in, make sure that my monthly calendar is up to date. I printed out these horizontal inserts for the entire year. So I have the entire year's worth in here. If I want to use this as a planner, I can. So when I update the monthly, I will go in and just put down whatever appointments I have at the beginning of the month I go ahead and put them on the weekly calendar. That way, if for some reason I do want to jump into it, I don't have to worry about not knowing what's going on in my life. Has a little bit of deco in it. I still think it's really cute. I did put my trackers in this. I took this to Hawaii with us and thought like, oh, if I wanted to like track my sleep and my mood and all of that, at least I would have the pages in here to do that, but I never really did that. The notes pages kind of came in handy when my daughter was in labor, so that we could write down like when she was having her contractions, so that worked. So yeah, I have some blank notes pages in here, dot grid, lined, regular grid, a few trackers, and then just the weekly and the monthly. And yeah, I just keep it out on my desk, visible, so that like if I'm, like sometimes if I'm going out to write somewhere, whether I'm going to the library or like a coffee shop or whatever, and I just don't want to take like my full bag because I'm also taking like my computer and stuff, I will just grab this and throw my driver's license in it and take it with me in case I need to have it because you never know. So yeah, I'm not letting myself feel guilty about the fact that like I wanted it and I set it up, and I'm not really, I think this is my use in case of emergency planner, let's just call it that. Because you never know when a planner emergency might come up and you need a cute little pocket planner. So that is currently mid-year what I'm doing. So this is my sometimes when I don't need a really big thing, but I want to make sure that I have some paper in case I need to make notes, and my calendar. I will grab this and just put it in my bag. But my main system is really my entire life. This is just business and writing and content. We're going to use this for memory keeping. And then we've got this that we are just going to put all of our kind of food, meals, stuff we need to buy for the house planner. So that is what we're working with currently. And then my my 2 journals. So I have like my everything, info, special interest brain dump book, and then my tarot journal. So these just kind of hang out on my desk. This hangs out like on my little coffee table in my office. Every morning after my workout, I make my coffee, I come upstairs, I light a candle, I check my planner for the day, I draw my tarot card, I do a little journaling, and then I jump right into doing all the things that I need to do that day. So I will probably put this with it. I do like that I can put this in my little planner tote, so if I'm deciding that I want to plan in the family room or the living room or in our bedroom, I can take this with me and have it in case there's anything that I want to write down in it. So that's kind of what's happening right now in my planner. I saw some videos that referred to it as their planner ecosystem, and I like that because this, my personal rings is like the sun, and everything else kind of floats around this main system and makes different areas of my life function. So yeah, that is another wordy, chatty, rambling video from me about kind of the state of my planner stack mid-year 2025. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos from me, don't forget to click the subscribe button down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, turn on your notifications, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!